Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. Today I have created this melting skull look, and of course it was inspired by Desi Perkins' look that she did last year on Halloween, and I just absolutely love it. It was a lot of fun to create, and it's something different in terms of the melting part of it that I've never really done before. So if you guys are interested in how to create this look, then please keep on watching. So I have already stuck down one side of my eyebrow like I did on my previous tutorial, and I have set this, and I've also already done the normal side of my face, the non-skull side of my face, and I've done a cut crease, pretty monochrome colours just to complement the skull side. And I've started off using a white eyeliner pencil to just trace out where my melting bit is going to be and how it's going to drip. I used Desi's look as a guideline, but then I also freestyled a little bit as I felt was right. And it's really easy, as Desi explains in her video, to use white pencil because you can easily wipe it away and nothing really is that permanent and won't ruin anything the same way a black pencil would. So I had a couple of goes of this, the same as she did in her video. I definitely think white pencil is an amazing tip. As you can see, I'm really taking my time to just feel the kind of flow of how I feel my face would be dripping if it was melting off, and I'm just marking that out as I feel appropriate. And it's pretty good to not think too much into it and not to make it too perfect, because then like the messier in a way and the more freestyle it is, the better. I also, as you just saw there, just did a little bits on the nose, so it looks like that's like melting away as well. And now I'm going over that white line once I'm happy with it, and I'm making it more permanent with some black face paint. And all of the white lines I've done, I'm going to go over them with this black face paint before I go in and deepen them and shade in. I'm going on and outlining these drips. I'm also doing these little speckled bits on the normal part of my face to show how it's cracking through and the skull is coming out. And I'm also colouring in the little bit that I've done on my nose where the nose part is coming out, and doing the little crackled bit and the speckled bit, kind of is how I would describe it, along my nose too, so it really looks as realistic as it can be. As I'm filling in the nose area, I also go in afterwards with a little bit of white face paint just to kind of create a highlight and some depth to the actual nose area. So I've just kind of placed that in the centre and blended it out, so it's not too harsh but a nice blended kind of 3D effect to it. I find that for this look in general, using small precision brushes, small eyeliner brushes, and just little small detail shader brushes from Real Techniques, one from Tarte I've used, and Zoeva, are probably the best for these small areas, just because you can really get in the little bits and the little cracks of the face. And now what I am doing is around the melting area, I'm shading it to create some depth. So I'm kind of keeping the lines as dark as I can on the side that is the skull. On the side that is the normal face, I'm just leaving it as it is. And what I'm doing is I'm making them darker and then dragging them out and shading them out a little bit more gently, kind of like when you render, when you're drawing or colouring. And I'm just creating that sort of gradient effect, so it looks like it's got depth. It actually looks like my face is dripping off and my face is kind of on top of this skull, and it's like all dripping off. And you'll see the bigger picture after. So I'm just being really careful to do this and not get it on the drips. And just really, you have to take your time with this and just relax yourself into it. You don't want to be trying to rush this bit because you'll just mess it up and then get all panicked. As you can see, I'm going in and just shading and then just creating that sort of depth where it looks as 3D as it can be. And once I've shaded, so I shade it in and I'm using face paint and sometimes some black eyeshadow, and then I go over the actual line and just deepen that even more and make it as black as I can, as you can see here. And then leaving that centre kind of area with some skin showing through. For the skull side of the face, I'm going in with some black eyeliner and completely colouring in all around my eye to make it black. So I'm lining it in the waterline and also tight lining it. I find it really hard to tight line this eye, so I'm just really messy, which doesn't really matter. And then you don't actually see this, but I kind of took some time to feel out my actual eye socket, and I took it a little bit higher than it actually is, but I just went along that bone and dotted around just the line where my eye socket is, and now I'm going in and filling that in with some black face paint. Because I use a bigger brush to do this, I went a little bit outside of the line, so I'm using a makeup wipe to clean this up a bit. And now I'm creating the sort of shading from the natural bit of the eye socket where the light would hit, and I'm using a bit of white face paint and blending it out to create that depth and textured look. And now I'm going ahead and filling in all of the skull side of my face, all with white face paint. After taking the time to feel out the natural bone structure of my face, I went in and traced out where my temples are and kind of where my cheekbones are and my kind of teeth area is, and then I used the same precision eyeliner brush to just trace that out and make sure I've got the right place to just create that part of the skeleton. And once I was happy with the lines that I had done, I went in and filled that in with solid black paint. For the mouth area, again, because I wanted that gradient look, I just went over the outline in a darker black colour and then just kind of feathered that out with a brush, as you can see, and that provides the gradient smooth kind of effect. So it transitions smoothly from black to white. I also created another little highlight on my brow bone. And now for the teeth, I'm using the same small precision brush, and I'm looking at my own teeth and marking out where they are, and then kind of creating a little, I don't know how to describe it, like the tip of an ice gem. Creating that kind of shape for the teeth and dragging it upwards. And this is pretty hard when you start off, because it starts off looking nothing like teeth, nothing like a skeleton, and you just think you're not going to get anywhere, but it really builds up and looks better when you get into it and just keep doing more. So if you start off and you think, oh, this doesn't actually look as good as it's supposed to or as you thought it would, just take your time, go with it, and it will all come together. I find it easiest to create those lines first using my own teeth as reference points, and then I kind of created two diagonal lines coming in like a triangle but leaving it like an open top triangle, and then in between those triangle tips I was shading them in and dragging it out, so creating that gradient effect again. And I found this Real Techniques detail shader brush really helpful throughout this whole tutorial. So once I did that in between all of the teeth, I went in with my eyeliner brush and I just darkened up the lines for the teeth. And then after that I went back in using the white paint and just went over the teeth again to make them look more prominent. And if I was to go back again, the one thing that I do differently, I'm going to tell you guys now so you guys can, if you recreate this look, is when I went back in with the white face paint, as you'll see me do in a second, I wish that I kind of went in the tooth and then a little bit more thinner, dragged it up and outwards to create that sort of, the teeth were separate, like not all the black shading stuck together. Like my upper lip and the teeth on there, you can see that and you can distinguish between the black shading and then the white tooth, the black shading and the white tooth. But my bottom lip, I would have liked to have dragged that white colour downwards a little bit more, if you know what I mean. But I think I didn't, because then the white would keep getting mixed with the black and then it would go a bit grey, and I didn't want grey teeth. So that's something to consider before you create the look. Once I finished up the skull side of the face, it was time for the drips, and I used this Mayron can't talk. It's a 3D flesh toned gel, and it literally just dries but still stays pretty gooey, and I just used this to just create the drips and the melting effects down the sides of my face and down the actual areas that were dripping down my cheeks. I did get this in my eye, as you'll see in a little while, and it did really hurt, so maybe you might want to avoid the eye area, as most instructions do tell you to do, but I usually never listen. But this really helps to bring the look to life and gives you that 3D effect, and it just makes it look more fun. It was great to create. I got a lot of this gel on my t-shirt. I missed a lot of the time my face, and it just splodged on my t-shirt, which wasn't great, but that's advice for you guys, so you guys don't do the same thing. And that is the finished look. So thank you so much for watching, and happy Halloween.